Good morning, my wild and beautiful friends. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're talking caramel apples. I have got the most simple and delicious caramel recipe you will ever make. It's super healthy and plant-based. Keep on watching to see how we make it. Alrighty guys, let's get started. This recipe is so simple. I have got some dates here that are already super caramely and delicious, but I'm gonna soak them in warm water just to make it a little bit easier to blend up and make them even more juicy. So I'm gonna take 10 of these dates and throw them in a bowl and cover them with some warm water. I'm adding just enough water to cover the dates, and then I'm gonna let them sit and plump up for about an hour. After an hour, I'm going to drain off that juice, but I'm going to keep it because that's what we're going to use to kind of thin out our caramel and make it nice and creamy. And then we won't lose any of that yummy sweet date flavor. Whoop, lost one. There we go. And then be sure, this is a very important step, to pit your dates. You can buy dates without pits. I usually buy the ones with pits. They seem to be a little bit more fresh and juicy. So I'm just pulling these apart. See how much more soft they are? I'm pulling out that little pit there, and some of them have that little top part of the pit, so I'm making sure that comes out too, so we can get a nice and smooth consistency to our caramel. And then I'm tossing these little guys into a high-speed blender. You can also use a food processor to do this. Next up, we've got almond butter. You can use any nut butter for this recipe. I tend to like the almond butter because it just makes everything taste really rich and caramely. Peanut butter is awesome, but you taste the peanuts a little bit more. So use whatever you prefer. There really is no wrong way to make this recipe. It's so simple. So I'm adding about a cup of almond butter here. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons to start with of our reserved date water, just to get everything moving in the blender. I'm just going to start blending it like this so we get kind of like a dough consistency and really break down those dates. Once we're kind of dough-like here, I'm going to start adding in our date water a couple tablespoons at a time. If you can see how that kind of got stuck in the blades, you can use your little stamper for your blender or a wooden spoon, since I don't have my little damper thing anymore. And just kind of move things around, add a little bit more liquid, and you're just going to keep doing this until you get a consistency you really like. I ended up using all but about a tablespoon of that reserved date water. I liked it to be nice and dippable, but still thick enough to hold on to the fruit you're going to dip it in. Once our dates were soaked and we added them to the blender, this whole process took maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It's super fast and really simple. The consistency is looking perfect to me. It's nice and dippable, super smooth. Truly, this recipe is so versatile. Like I said, you can use any nut butter. You can also use it as a topping in so many different ways. My personal favorite is the most simple. You just dip some in-season apples in it, and it's like the most decadent caramel apple without any of the added sugars or guilt. You can also use it as a topper for your toast. I love to add it to fruit parfaits with like banana and vegan yogurt and some chia seeds. Super good. And you can totally make this in big batches and keep it in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. It stays really fresh. And so far has been a giant kid favorite. I had some family over recently, made this for dessert, and it was gone before we even ate dinner. So it is a crowd pleaser. I hope that you guys enjoyed this recipe as much as I do. I think it's the perfect little fall treat with all the sugar that we're eating this month. This is something you can feel really good about feeding your family or putting into your own body. I hope that everybody is staying safe and healthy, and thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Cheers.